Hi friends, I welcome you all in this exciting training session being conducted by TNV Academy. Let me explain you that what we will be covering in this session. As we have already seen in earlier session that the QMS requirements are specified from class 4 onwards. This means organization needs to demonstrate evidence for implementation of these requirements. These are called shell requirements in ISO parlance. Shell requirements must be met by the organization in order to demonstrate conformity to ISO 9001 standards. In this session, we will be discussing the subclass 4.3. Now let us understand about the internal references taken by the subclass 4.3 of ISO 9001-2015. As far as subclass 4.3 is concerned, it does take reference from ISO 9000-2015 standard. ISO 9000-2015 standard spells out the definitions and meaning of the terms used in this international standard so that no misinterpretation is done while implementing the requirements of ISO 9001-2015. Now let me tell you what the key learnings take away from this session. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to understand how to determine the scope of quality management system for the organization, what are the factors an organization has to consider while implementing the requirements of class 4.3 of ISO 9001-2015. How the identification of these factors helps in correct implementation of the standard. So let's begin our discussion regarding the determining the scope of quality management system. At the outset, you need to understand the difference between scope detailed under class 1 and the scope being discussed here under class 4.3 of ISO 9001-2015. The initial scope is generic in nature, applicable for all organizations, irrespective of their shape, type, nature of business and products and services. Whereas class 4.3 is very specific to the organization implementing the quality management system, considering its internal and external issues and requirements of relevant interested parties, products and services of the organization. The subclass 4.3 states that the organization shall determine the boundaries and applicability of the quality management system to establish its scope. While determining the scope of the organization, shall consider the external and internal issues relevant to as per 4.1, B, the requirements of relevant interested parties referred to in 4.2, C, the products and services of the organization. The organization shall apply all the requirements of this ISO 9001-2015 standard if they are applicable within the determined scope of its quality management system. The scope of the organization's quality management system shall be available and be maintained as a documented information. The scope shall state the type of products and services covered. Conformity to this international standard may only be claimed if the requirements determined as not being applicable do not affect the organization's ability or responsibility to ensure conformity of its products and services and the enhancement of customer satisfaction. In summary, the scope shall be very specific to the organization's nature of products and services, physical boundaries, and application of all relevant clauses of the standard. So to say, a fingerprint or signature scope of the particular organization which is unique for the organization's quality management system. Applicability. The revised standard will focus on the application and not just the exclusions. Justification is required as documented information to ensure that limited application does not affect the organization's ability to provide for the provision of products and services. The application of requirements may vary. For example, a refinery making petroleum product as per Indian standard specifications need not consider requirements of design and development as they are making product as per the standards. Similarly, the company making bottled water as per ISA standard need not have requirements for design and development of product which is the packaged drinking water. However, they have to fulfill the requirements of class 8.3 of design and development for the containers that they design to package this water. A manufacturing organization that does not have any monitoring and measuring resources could determine requirements pertaining to 7.1.5 does not apply. The bottom line is non-applicability of a requirement should be properly justified to the extent that it should not affect the conformity of products and services that it provides. Friends, I hope you are clear with the requirements of this subclass 4.3 of ISO 9001:2015. So now we will learn about the mandatory requirements that an organization has to maintain while meeting the requirements of this subclass 4.3. The scope of the organization's quality management system shall be available and be maintained as a documented information. This is the first mandatory document requirement of the ISO 9001:2015. Normally, this is spelled out in the quality manual. Also, this is evident from the scope of certification issued by the certification body. Dear friends, we have now come to the conclusion of this training session. I hope that all of you must have understood the requirements and concepts that fall under the subclass 4.3 of ISO 9001:2015. See you soon with an exciting new topic. Till then, it's me signing off. Thank you. Goodbye.